A lot of things that I connect with her as a woman. However, I am very big on details. And I don't know if it's with this kind of environment that you can't commit to something, but I really do have to vote for my family.
How many of you, show of hands, will leave tonight planning to support the vice president?
Pretty much right in the middle.
All right, now listen, at this point, you got to understand, this is crunch time. Election is on its way. You understand what I'm saying? We only got like a week or two left. I believe 2 weeks and change, and yeah, we about to be at that mark. So with that being said, hey, if you like reactions like this, consider hitting that like button. Definitely subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell. Right now, we're about to dive into undecided audience members reacting to Harris' town hall speech, all right? So we know that went a little bit sideways, and we're going to let them tell you for themselves, all right? Sit back and react with your boy. Let's go.
How many of you, show of hands, will leave tonight planning to support the vice president? 2 have made a final decision. You came in leaning that way?
Pretty much right in the middle.
Okay. Came in
Leaning.
leaning, and now you're decided.
Yes.
Okay. Now, 3 of you have not, so let me start with you first, Joe. Why?
I think there are still, first off, I certainly respect the vice president and the work that she is doing in her office. I think that there are still some, at least for me, some personal policy differences. I don't think that, I still can't get behind her policies on abortion. That's just something that I can't get behind, because that's, the right to life is so fundamental in this country that it becomes, without that right being respected, it's incredibly difficult to talk about anything else. So I have a policy difference, a number of policy differences with her. That's the biggest one that comes to mind. But at the same time, I'm still not sold on the former president either, just because of his personality, his actions on January 6th, just the way that sometimes he treats people.
See, that's the main key right now. The main key is how he talks to people and how he treats people. You're only going to really hear people talk about Trump in regards to, you heard how he talked to them? You heard how he speaks to women? I mean, if it was 2 men, you know, one man throws a jab, the other man's supposed to respond with a jab back. Now, if it's a woman, it's going to be, you saw how he hit her? So, you know, it's not fair now. Once the sexes are changed, it's never going to be fair in the sport. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're always going to reach low and always say, you hear how he speaks to a woman? You hear how he treats a woman? But when it's 2 men, you can't say things like that. You understand what I mean? And not to mention, when Biden was running for presidency, no one was leaning. People knew exactly who they wanted to pick. They were either going to pick Trump or they were going to pick Biden. So with that being said, that shows a lot where Kamala is today. You understand? Or Kamala, however you want to say it. Tomato, tomato.
That gets to be a little bit difficult for me.
So 2 quick follow-ups here. Number 1, so you're not leaving here planning to vote for Trump. You're leaving here still not knowing what to do.
I came in here leaning in the direction of the former president. I have not made a final decision.
The vice president approached you as she was walking out, and we could hear a little bit of it from afar, but you were having a conversation about your disagreement on abortion.
Yes.
Obviously, you still disagree with her. What did it mean to you that she took the time to talk to you? Did it mean anything at all?
It meant quite a bit, actually. I will respect that. Anybody who's willing to hear ideas that are in opposition to hers, and that's, or to anybody's really for that matter, that's something that is a personality trait that I really appreciate. And that is certainly something that, like, I try to have in myself. I do try to listen to as many points of view as possible in my day-to-day life to try to get that. So I appreciate that element for her.
All right, I have a discrepancy with what he just said right there, right? He's basically trying to identify himself with either party. He's looking for personality traits. I mean, this is all irrelevant stuff, you know? We should just really look at policy. Who cares how they talk? Who cares how they treat people? I mean, I'm not going to say who cares, you know, like we don't care. But let's be serious. It's not that bad. I mean, you people treat each other worse. You understand what I'm saying? We the people treat each other worse. Let's be serious. As she say, let's be clear.
It's just sometimes this can be so very fundamental that particular issue can be so very fundamental to how we talk about anything else. The right to life, not just abortion, but the respect of life from the beginning to the end, is so very fundamental to how we operate as a country.
Well, we have 12 days to keep in touch with you as we go forward. We'll come back to the conversation. I just want to go back to the back row a little bit. So Pam and Lauren, Pam on my left, Lauren on my right. So you're not leaving here planning to vote for her. Do you leave here any clearer in either direction?
You know, actually, I think if I had to pick right now, I would pick her.
If you had to pick right now,
I would.
But
yes.
Is that you changed your mind since I asked the question a minute ago, or that's where you're more strongly leaning there? Is there what's missing? If there's a missing link to get you to absolutely, what is it?
That's a tough question. I guess a lot of the foreign policy is really my biggest concern, but overall, I think she is a better candidate.
Okay. And you're a registered Republican.
I'm an independent.
You're an independent now.
Yes.
Who'd you vote for in 2020?
I voted for Trump.
You voted for Trump.
Yes.
So if you vote for Harris, in the math, that's a big deal, especially where we live here in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Right, okay. All right. We'll come back to that as well. You also had a conversation.
I did.
With the vice president after. She immediately, you're the first one she sought out.
It's lovely. Yeah.
Tell me about it. What you can. I don't want to violate your privacy or her privacy,
that's okay.
but to the point you can.
And I really felt that. And I really, I came out of this feeling just kind of a feeling of adoration of her personally. I think personally she is a good person, and there was a nice connection, especially as a woman. There are a lot of things that I connect with her as a woman. However, I am very big on details. I'm big on numbers. I am a widow with 100% responsibility for my family, for my kids, for their tuitions, for my bills. And so I do my own taxes. I'm very much on top of every dollar. And so that is where, and I'm not really getting it from either candidate, to be honest. So that's where I just want to see what lines up. And I don't know if it's with this kind of environment that you can't commit to something, but I really do have to vote for my family. And another thing that is very much a turnoff, and this is with both candidates, stop trashing each other. We don't care. Stop trashing Trump. Trump, stop trashing the vice president. We don't care. The voters don't care. We don't even know the people they're talking about, that this person said this and that.
Well, that is your misinformation, and that is your ignorance. You should know who they're talking about if you're going to be voting. You understand what I'm saying? So you can miss me with that. I feel like they hand selected these 5 people strategically. You understand? I feel like what they should really do is just, it's like picking a number out of a hat. Let's stop being strategic with these things right here. Let's be realistic. You understand what I mean? So we get real answers, real responses, real results. All these strategics and strategies, it's only smoke and mirrors, in my opinion.
How does that impact the voters? That's who you're talking to. That's who you're serving. This feels like high school gossip. We don't care. We don't want to hear it.
You're all nodding about that.
Yeah,
as someone who's covered a lot of campaigns, I'm not here to take sides.
Trump's
but
about.
You know what Trump's about. Okay, that's the point I was trying to get at.
Talking about
in the sense that if you are her.
Yeah. I would say stop
but if you look at the numbers, Donald Trump is running stronger now than he was running in either 2016 or 2020. Okay. So if you're her, you're thinking, I need to try to disqualify him sometime.
Okay.
But you're all telling me that you would prefer she do that by making a more affirmative case. Yes. This is why you should pick me over him.
Her.
I would say exactly that. I think from prior to even entering the race as the presidential candidate, and then once she ultimately was nominated, for a very long time, she didn't stoop to his level. And as of late, last couple of weeks, I've really started to see, like you said, this schoolyard bullying. And I think that's beneath her. She doesn't need to do that. She can run on her policy.
I don't like the word bullying got taken out of context. I mean, once you say something that a person doesn't want to hear, and you say it in a certain tone or mannerism, they're going to automatically assume or say you're a bully or you're bullying. Listen, they're both taking jabs at each other, all right? This is how the game works. They are mentioning people you don't know because they are fully aware that you people are misinformed and you don't know anything. So they have to remind you, unfortunately. And you know why that is? Well, thanks to NFL, the NBA, the MLB, and so on and so on.
Can run on her position. You don't need to stoop to his level. And I really think that's what it is. And, you know, I respect her more for that if she would just stay out of that arena.
We're in this very unprecedented place. She just became the candidate in July.
Yeah.
Normally you run in a primary, or you're the president, as Joe Biden was, you're the incumbent, you're not really challenged. You go. To that degree, she clearly feels the need to introduce herself more. So you understand who she is, not just what her positions are, but who she is and what makes she tick, what makes her tick. Let me start here. Did you hear anything tonight? Will you leave saying, I understand her better, I know her better, not taxes and spending, not abortion rights, not immigration, but who she is? If the moment of crisis comes, I trust her or don't trust her because of what?
One of the things that stood out to me was when, I believe it was you that asked the weakness question. You know, what is your biggest weakness? And she brought up that she has people around her that she can trust, that she can get the answer from. In my line of work in IT, I don't expect everybody to know the answer. I expect them to know how to get the answer. And her specifically, that resonated with me, because I don't need a president that knows everything or thinks they know everything, because that's not what America needs. They need to put the right people in the right place to lead the country efficiently.
I agree with you. We don't like a know-it-all. However, we need someone who knows what they're doing. You understand? So what he said is just pandering to Kamala's mishaps on TV. You know, he's just covering it up, if you ask me. He's dressing it up nice.
Person can't lead this country. They need a team, and that's what resonated with me.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that was the biggest question. That's the reason why I asked that question. I also appreciated the fact that she had a certain degree of introspection as she was answering that question, which was certainly another factor in this. We, again, as I mentioned in the setup to the question, we are not perfect as human beings. And in the presidency, you need to acknowledge that as well, because you have so much around you that can sometimes lead you to think that you're larger than life. And at a certain point, we have to acknowledge that there is something bigger than us, whatever that something is to an individual. We have to acknowledge that there is something bigger than us that helps us, that helps us be humble in our daily life, whether it's president or.
To that point, let me flip it. You have to sometimes say there are things that are bigger than me, bigger than what I believe. You have a very important personal position on an issue that is profoundly important to you, abortion rights.
Yes.
And it's deeply personal. I assume a position also born of faith. So she's asking you, essentially, my words, not hers, but I get you, I respect you. Can I ask you to put that aside because of these other issues, whether it's the economy, whether it's immigration, whether it's Trump's behavior? That's what she's asking you to do on a principled issue on which you fundamentally disagree. Can she get you there? What would it take?
I think that it would take, honestly, it would take a profound respect for the fact that there is a dichotomy here, and whatever approach is taken on that particular issue, if we can respect the fact that the Declaration of Independence, the first document of this country, indicated that our first right that is given to us by our Creator is a right to life, that matters. And if we can at least approach it with that as our foundation, then we can have maybe a conversation in that regard. The other issues that you laid out, there is a lot of agreement on both sides. It comes down to finer points of execution at the end of the day.
I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it seems like this guy right here is a plant, and he was basically put here amongst the other people to make it look like he don't know which way he want to go, and now he's definitely going to lean into Kamala. I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time, but I have to think critically and look deep into how people only like to just remain on the surface. You understand? But that's what it's given right now.
We heard Anderson press the vice president regarding the border wall and the fact that there's still $650 million allocated to that particular project, that project that was such a standard of the first time that the former president ran. The fact that she wouldn't necessarily answer that question directly, and the fact that she agreed, like, that we need a secure border. There is agreement on both sides. It's just a matter of the execution that's a part of it.
See, I have to strongly disagree with this guy right here. I see why he's on the fence. He's still dangling on the fence. Both his legs are on each side right now. He's just riding it. Pause. No diddy. He's enjoying that ride too, I guess. With that being said, let me know if you beg to differ, if you agree. You already know, I love all humankind. I will not allow the media or this fake government stuff to split us apart. You understand what I'm saying? With that being said, remember, spread love and not war. Right now, Kamala's doing a whole lot of that war stuff. You understand? I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have any suggestions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or X.